What if everything we saw in court last week was staged? What if the person acting like the victim in front of the judge was actually running the show from behind the curtain? Well, get ready, because Bambi just broke her silence, and what she said isn't just surprising, it could be dangerous. She didn't come to play the victim, she came with facts, and what she brought to light might just turn the whole love and hip-hop world upside down. We're talking about private messages, unseen footage, and court files that were never meant to go public. This isn't just her defending herself, she's calling out Stevie J directly. According to her, he didn't just twist the story. He lied under oath and dragged her name through the dirt to protect himself, and she's naming names, including someone who sat beside Stevie in court. This isn't your usual drama. It feels more like betrayal, deception, and maybe something that could lead to real legal trouble. Before you scroll past this, ask yourself, are you ready to hear the truth that Bambi was never supposed to reveal? It started small, just whispers, online, but by morning, it had exploded into a full-blown media storm. Bambi, who's been quiet for months while social media blamed her for everything, finally decided to speak up. And what she revealed? Let's just say it's not looking good for Stevie J, Mama D, or even the court system that got caught up in this mess. There are lies, setups, manipulation, and a whole new scandal no one expected. This isn't just her clapping back. This is a full-blown war, and Bambi brought the ammo. Now, before we get into everything she said, let's back up a bit. For months, the internet dragged Bambi, accusing her of being the reason behind Lil Scrappy's downfall. But behind all the noise, something even worse was happening. Stevie J, the same guy always in the headlines for cheating scandals and shady music deals, was, according to Bambi, behind the whole thing. She says he wasn't just causing drama. He was planting lies in court documents, changing the narrative, and turning her into the villain for something she says she never did. So how did all of this start? One word: family. A toxic family feud that makes most reality show families look calm in comparison. Mama D, like always, couldn't keep out of it. She's been loudly blaming Bambi for ruining her son's life while staying close with Stevie J like he was some kind of savior. But behind Bambi's silence was a much darker truth. She says she was threatened, legally silenced, and forced to take the blame for something out of her control. Let's talk about what she claims went down in court. Bambi didn't throw Stevie's name around lightly. People from her side, even though they chose to stay anonymous, say Stevie sent informal statements to the court using backdoor connections. And those so-called statements, they were full of twisted half-truths, edited texts, and even fake conversations, making Bambi look like some manipulative, bitter ex with a plan to take down Scrappy's family. One source said the messages looked legit, but the timestamps didn't match. It looked like someone copied and pasted texts just to frame her. What's worse, these documents shouldn't have even made it into court, but somehow, through shady deals and sketchy connections, they were slipped into the official record without Bambi's lawyers knowing. Think about that. Evidence possibly planted in a custody case, and the court took it seriously. Meanwhile, jumped on her like vultures. Memes, TikToks, reaction videos, everyone calling her the worst thing that ever happened to Scrappy. And no one bothered to ask why she wasn't defending herself. Because let's be real, online silence usually equals guilt, right? Wrong. Now that she's finally speaking, all those people who trashed her are taking a second look. Here's what no one expected. Bambi didn't come empty-handed. She dropped proof. Actual call logs, hidden texts, and private DMs. These messages, allegedly, show Stevie working behind the scenes with others involved in the case. And guess whose name also popped up? Yep, Mama D. Bambi claims she was part of the setup too, helping frame her as the manipulative one while pretending to be innocent on camera. But the wildest part? An audio recording. Bambi's legal team says it's a phone call where Stevie is heard saying something along the lines of, "We just need her out of the way. Once she gives up, Scrappy can get full custody, and we can fix this whole mess." If that audio is real and verification is still pending, it could change everything. That's not just lying. That's scheming. That's obstruction. That's something that could lead to a new trial, with Stevie not as a witness, but as the one being questioned. And it's not just the legal world reacting, fans are going wild. Twitter is flooded with posts like, "Bambi was framed, I owe her an apology," and "Stevie J is the devil's intern." Even celebs are speaking up. K. Michelle reposted the leaked text with a caption that said, "I knew there was more to this." Tamar Braxton tweeted, "That level of betrayal should be illegal. That girl deserves peace." Even Scrappy, who's been pretty quiet this whole time, posted a cryptic message not long after Bambi's interview went viral. The truth always comes out, even if it crawls. Now people don't even know whose side he's on anymore. But one thing's clear, the story has flipped. Instead of looking like a bitter ex, Bambi now seems like someone who's been targeted by one of the dirtiest smear jobs in reality TV history. Public opinion is swinging in her favor, and Stevie J might finally have to answer for way more than just music drama. And no, it's not over, because what Bambi said next made everything else look tame. She stared straight into the camera and dropped a line that hit like a bomb. You want to talk about lies? Let's talk about how Stevie J made sure no cameras were allowed in that courtroom. Let's talk about sealed files that were never supposed to exist. Let's talk about how I was silenced for months while this man destroyed my name. It didn't matter if people were rooting for Bambi or not. You could feel the energy shift. She wasn't just calling out Stevie anymore, she was challenging the entire Love and Hip Hop setup. And when she said, "NDAs don't scare me anymore," Twitter exploded. Fans started asking, was she talking about Mona Scott? Was there a bigger cover-up? Was Scrappy being manipulated while everyone else stayed quiet? Then came the real shocker. Bambi's supposed private messages leaked. Screenshots, allegedly from her Instagram, showed conversations between her and a VH1 staff member. The messages suggested Stevie may have influenced how certain episodes were edited to make her look bad while hiding his own mess. Whether those screenshots were real or not didn't matter. People believed them. Fan accounts started combing through old episodes, posting clips and saying things like, "Look at Bambi's reaction here, she knew," or "Watch how Stevie cuts her off, classic manipulation." Suddenly, people weren't just defending her, they believed she was set up from day one. But this wasn't Bambi begging for sympathy. This was a calculated move. Her next step? A mysterious live stream teased on her story with just a skull, emoji, and the word "unburied," set for Friday at 9 p.m. When she went live, the internet froze. No glam, no effects, just Bambi in a plain hoodie, sitting in a bare room, holding court transcripts. She started flipping through them, one by one, like she was sorting through a stack of lies at a family dinner. Then came a twist no one saw coming. Someone claiming to have worked as an editor on Love and Hip Hop spoke out anonymously during a live stream on a well-known YouTube gossip channel. Their voice was changed, face hidden, but what they said was loud and clear. They claimed full scenes were removed that made Bambi look sympathetic because producers had already decided they needed a villain, and Bambi was it. That confession opened the floodgates. More so-called insiders started sharing what they knew. One said Bambi was singled out for speaking her mind. Another claimed Mona Scott warned her that if she didn't play along, she'd be edited out. Whether these claims were real or people chasing attention didn't matter. What mattered was Bambi's story was now about more than just her. It became a bigger conversation about how women on reality TV are often portrayed as angry, messy, or ungrateful. Then it got even more serious. Bambi's legal team dropped a public statement. They said they were looking into legal action over defamation, character attacks, and hidden evidence. Translation: they were gearing up for a full legal fight. As soon as her team mentioned character assassination, everything shifted. This wasn't just online mess anymore. Gossip sites reported that VH1 execs were scrambling to hold emergency meetings. Some even said Mona Scott quietly flew into Atlanta using a fake name. The industry was shaken. Still, Bambi said nothing. Until one random Friday night, she suddenly posted, no rant, no video, just a screenshot. It was an email sent to her lawyers with the subject "urgent request for private mediation." And the sender? A high-up executive from the internet exploded again. Was VH1 trying to settle? Did they know Bambi had receipts? And what were they trying to keep quiet? Bambi finally broke her silence with a single line. "You don't ask for peace if you've done nothing wrong." But the biggest shock came from someone unexpected. Erica Dixon, Scrappy's ex and longtime Bambi rival. She went live on Instagram, sipping wine with a smirk, and said, "I don't mess with Bambi. Never have. But this time, I believe her. Y'all don't even know the half." What followed was nearly an hour of unfiltered truth. Erica said Bambi was telling the truth, that production edited storylines, that Stevie J had been manipulating scenes for years, and that Scrappy knew all of it. She claimed Scrappy would come home venting about Stevie calling the shots on what scenes aired. She dropped all this like it was nothing. At that point, this wasn't drama anymore. It felt like a full-on documentary in real time. Fake court documents made the rounds online claiming Bambi had officially sued for emotional distress and defamation. The names listed included Stevie J, producers, the network, and some cast members. Was it real? No one could say. But online, people believed it.